Hey
Yeah.
everybody, what's going on? Dace here, and today we are doing another Meet the Player episode. And today I'm talking to Scowsh, who we've chatted here and there, in like on videos on YouTube and on Twitter and that kind of stuff. But it's our first time talking face to face and just getting into some of his history with the games and whatnot. So, how are you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for having me on.
yeah, no
Excited about
problem.
this.
Yeah, I'm really glad we could do this because yeah, I've been keeping track of just all the different things you've been playing lately and all the different clears you've been banging out one after another, and just it's really cool seeing the progress and just seeing you taking on all these different challenges and things like that, and just
hmm
yeah, crushing them. So yeah, I suppose let's just get right into the first question. How and when did you first learn about the genre? Because I know, like for myself, I knew about shmups, but not in the sense of it being a genre. Like I had Solar Striker way back in the '90s, but to me it was just another game like any other game. I had no idea there was just this huge genre of these games. So, what was kind of your first experience when you realized, oh wow, this is actually a whole group of games like this?
Yeah, I think I mean I played quite a bit. I played Health. I remember Hellfire from when I was a kid
Mm-hmm.
playing that on the Mega Drive. But again, I didn't really take it in, if that makes sense, back then. And then I played a bit of Jamestown with my brother, just like couch co-op. But again, didn't really grasp the full breadth of the genre. It was, I think, really, it was. I used to listen to a podcast called Sound of Play,
Mm-hmm.
and Mikhail Kroder was on there, who's recently done Shieldmade MX,
Yeah,
one of the
wild.
developers behind that. Yeah, and he, like, I heard him talking on there quite a bit, and then I think we got in touch, and via Twitter, I think it was, and he was like, "Oh, you should come and try it out in the alpha, in the give it a go." And I just started playing Shieldmade really, and before it, like while it was in development, and then they had like a little scoring competition
Mm-hmm.
there, like, and that I really enjoyed that. The challenge of kind of aiming for the top score. It always came fourth, it seemed to be.
Yeah.
I never quite got there. It was always like third for a little while, and somebody come along and pipped me at the post. But and then from there, that it kind of, I kind of had a look around what else was going on, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it was with the Switch as well. Having a Switch made a big difference to me
Oh
because
yeah.
before I think I got that in like 2017 or something, and mainly for Zelda back then.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, actually, there's a few other games. So I started playing a few horizontal shooters on, so, and then I was like, oh, there's a vertical shooters as well. Right, let's try those out. And at first, I was like, what's going on with these? This is completely like crazy to me.
Yeah.
Uh, and then just fell in love with them. Everything I was playing was just such fun time. And then I think we were doing a parodia, One Credit Classics. Ben did a Parodius competition on that, Parodius Star on the SNES, and again, I really enjoyed that scoring competition. And then I think I just started looking on YouTube for content then as well. I was like kind of seeing what's going on and got into like Shmup Junkies channel,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we did. I think I joined his Discord and did a scoring I think it was either Raging Blasters or Hell Blasters
Nice.
scoring competition again, like just a caravan competition. And from that point on, I was just kind of like, actually, this is really good fun. Like I'm really enjoying it. It's really scratching that itch of the buzz from getting the clears or getting the score, and
Yeah.
then like it was, yeah, really really addictive.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, I think that's great. That was actually one of
Yeah.
my questions on the list is what was it about the genre that gripped you? Or I suppose since you've kind of already touched on that, like mechanic wise, what kind of has you feeling the most engaged as a player? Because that's going to be different for everybody. Some people love
Yeah.
hyper systems or just different things. What is it for you?
I like. I like cancels. I like bullet cancels. That's always
Oh
good fun
yeah.
when you kind of think stuff's coming at you and you're just like, can I grab the cancel or not? And then you do, and it's
Yeah.
like, phew.
Yeah. you start breathing again for a
Yeah,
second.
absolutely. Yeah. I like the option of bombs. Bombs make me feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They always kind of relax me. And like resources, like being able to gain resources in shmups, it feels like a bit of a cheat, but I'm always like just one extra life would have just got me through there.
Yeah.
Or I like feeling comfortable, even though I like having more than enough left at the end. Although quite a few of my clears recently, I've had nothing left, so
Oh.
that's always been like proper edge of your seat stuff. But I like that as well. Do you know what I mean? Like the can I get through this last little? I've never made it through without a bomb before, but this time I've done it, and that's really good fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think I at the minute I'm preferring vertical shooters as well. I think, but I went and played Shield Maid again the other day, and I was like, oh, this is ace. And then went back and then played a little bit of Battle Traverse as well, and that
Hmm.
was Hori. That was fantastic, really good fun.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I enjoy. I feel like I'm still exploring the genre really.
Hmm.
I'm still learning about what's out there and what I like, but yeah, there's definitely bits of it that kind of keep pulling me in, or just that one more go.
Yeah.
I think difficulty wise as well, like I'm not. I like feeling that I could get it.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not too far from where I am now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And and
Yeah,
that's one thing I love, when you can kind of gauge, like, even if you have a really terrible run, you can see what you messed up. You can kind of gauge how well you can do if you can just clean up those one or two sections, or start thinking a little more strategically with your resources, and you just know you can do it. So it's just a matter of executing it then, and
yeah,
not fumbling as much. So you can just push through. You just got to stick with it a little longer. I love what you mentioned about how you've had a bunch of runs where it's been down to the wire. And I
yeah,
feel like those make some of the best runs ever, because it's you either take a hit and it's over, or you just somehow dodge the rest of what's going on, and
yeah,
your heart is just going, or you're
yeah,
just like tense and you're shaking after the fact. Especially if it's like, for me, like some of the like the bigger challenging things that I've crushed, like I think those moments, like my hands are literally shaking after the fact, because it's like been weeks and weeks or months, and you finally
yeah,
pull it off and you're just like, oh my god, it's over, thank
yeah.
god.
Relief mixed
Yeah.
with like elation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
um yeah, so
Yeah.
as it stands right now, would you say you have a favorite shmup, or
I-
maybe even just a few that are like the top choices for you?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed Mushi Himasama.
Yeah.
That was really good fun. Because I'm playing through this like beginner list. That's kind of where I'm at the minute, and that was on there. I think it was a novice 1cc in the first place, and
Hmm.
then I think it was like novice ultra or something along those lines. It was like
Yeah.
the next stage up, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, how is there a possibility of me doing the arcade original on that
Hmm.
one? And then I did 1.5, got that one,
Amazing.
and then got the 1cc on the arcade eventually, which was just I'd spent a lot of time with that
Yep.
shop and enjoyed every minute of it really, and still want to go back to it, but I see that as a future kind of thing maybe. So yeah, Mushy was great, and the music's fab as well. I love Namiki's tracks, like a fantastic composer. Um, and then I've enjoyed loads of them really. I really enjoyed like a little bit more old school was Hishizami, is it?
Yeah.
Hishizami. I really enjoyed that because that was just completely different. It was I got a no death on that one on the arcade because that
Crazy.
was I couldn't do it unless it was no death. I couldn't recover. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so it was like
Or you
I
have to
have
do it
to
that way
get through
then.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like no. But again, I spent quite a few hours with that, and I enjoyed that. That was really good fun. But I think that taught me a different way of completely kind of different to Mushy.
Yeah.
Um, with like the aim bullets, you've got to be a little bit more precise and prepared, I guess. But yeah, I think they were really good fun. I've had a ton of fun with those. I love the handheld ones as well. Like I mean, I had a blast with a Hazelnut Hex. Hell Blasters
Oh
was
yeah.
absolutely fantastic. That was really good. I enjoyed Super XYX recently. It seems to be everything that I played. Like it all came from Shieldmaid. That was that was the massive hook, and I
Yeah.
keep going like I've not let that go yet. That's still there, which is really cool. Um, but yeah, I've enjoyed loads of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying a favorite at the minute. It just playing through so many so quickly at the minute. It's a little bit like a busman's tour. Do you know what I mean? Like a busman's holiday, running from place to place.
Hmm.
So I think when I finish this list, I'll have a little bit more of a think about what I've done and where I'm at and where I want to go with it and stuff.
For
But
sure.
yeah, I'm just enjoying everything I'm playing really at the
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah, that's great. And that's something
Mm.
I often think about even for myself is just kind of looking back at how where I started and the few games that I kind of gravitate toward these days and just taking a bit of an examination like okay, what is it about this? Why do I keep coming back to this one? What do I
Mhm.
enjoy so much? And it's just neat kind of being able to acquire that information and use that to just focus on games that are coming out now or whatever the case is that have similar mechanics where you can kind of get that similar experience. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it'll be neat to see kind of what you shift closer and closer to as time goes on and you just play more games.
hmm Yeah. I think as I'm going up the difficulties as well,
Oh yeah.
that's when you've got to spend more time with something, you start realizing more because I'm only spending a few at the minute, really like a few days with each
Hmm.
shmup I'm playing. So that is, I'm not really delving deep into them. So I think as the difficulty increases and my time with them increases, I'll definitely start kind of seeing where I'm enjoying or not,
Yeah,
as it were.
for sure. Another, yeah, on that note, another thing I love about shmups and when you stick with a game long enough to go to harder difficulties, there's always that much more to appreciate. Like I know for myself, I've always loved Rolling Gunner ever since the first time I played it, but now that I'm finally tackling expert mode, it's just like this game is so good. The pacing, like just the intensity, like everything about it. And like I feel as if let's say I had just stopped after a casual or original clear, it's like I would be missing out on just being able to appreciate everything that this game is, but I'm like it's all the more reason to just plunge deeper and deeper into a game you really enjoy.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can tap into. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've definitely got unfinished business with a few of the ones that I've played recently.
Yep.
Like I've made mental notes, like Super XYX. I want to go back and tackle the gauntlet and get the true TLB and
Hmm.
stuff because that's just fresh in my mind. But there's quite a few where I'm like, yeah, okay, and I'm gonna go back and stick the difficulty on that. I think as I'm getting to the end of this, so I've been doing the Shmups beginners list,
Hmm.
like that's been curated. Like by Actane and Genopolis, I think, kind of put that together and a few others. As I'm getting close to the end of that, I'm kind of like I'm reticent to dive into a bigger shmup. Like I've in the back of my mind, I've got Crimzon Clover I want to go back to
Yeah.
and get the arcade clear of that. But at the same time, I also want to kind of tick to these last few off
Yeah.
of this list, so I can kind of because I feel like that's really close. I think I've got like two or three now to go, and I've kind of finished that list, and then
That's
I can
amazing.
kind of go on a little bit further. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's been cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Do you like I think you kind of just answered it already, but since you want to finish the list first, but are you into the idea of kind of having a more long-term harder shmup in the works while you're kind of chipping away at shorter clears that aren't going to take weeks or months?
Yeah, I mean, I think having a few on the go definitely. Like I think some of the ones I found a little bit more like randomly. I found Final Soldier really hard.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't my. It just didn't fit for me somehow.
Yep.
So I had that on the go for about 3 or 4 months in the background while I was playing everything else. I think when I was doing the mushy clear as well, I was playing other stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, I've been back to Crimson Clover, and that's kind of I've been hitting it a little bit, but. I can't get past like stage 3. I'm just like literally like walking like I'm edging
Yeah.
through the mud, through the mud on that one, trying just to inch my way closer to the end
Yeah.
without dying on that one. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'd not really intended to finish this beginners list. Really, that wasn't the point of it,
Hmm.
but I just found it was a really nice. I enjoyed playing them, and then as I was kind of like, I got into a bit of a rhythm where I'd be like a couple of days, a couple of evenings with a shmup, and then start playing it a little bit more seriously, and then perhaps work towards a clear and get it a couple of days later or something.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was like 4 days, but that time's kind of reduced as I've got slightly better. And then I've been like, oh yeah, actually, I could just clear that list. That'd be quite a nice little kind of rounding off of my beginner kind of
Yeah, for sure.
period, as it were. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, what else do I have on this list of questions? Oh yeah, here's something. Actually, two things that I'm very, very intrigued to hear. Um, what would you say is your greatest accomplishment so far in terms of, and it doesn't even have to be like things you've cleared, but let's say just something you overcame in a specific stage, or just something you learned that you feel really accomplished by stumbling across or whatever. But it could also be like your the hardest 1cc or anything you've done really.
Yeah, I think the hardest ones for me were the I think there's three. The Hish's army, no death. That was hard work and
Yeah.
it was really tight. That was, and it's not particularly. I know it's not that hard, but for me, at the time, it was really difficult.
Hmm.
So I was kind of proud of that one. And then the mushy clear, that was like I think I was having a practice run in bed and on the Switch and how handheld, and I was like, oh God, I'm actually really close here. And then I got it, and I was like, that was just such a cool feeling. I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't sleep better. Then I don't know what I did with myself for like the next 3 hours, but I didn't sleep. And
Oh
then
wow.
yeah, and then S Chatos as well. The arcade 1cc of that was tough as well. That was
Hmm.
really hard for me again, and took a lot of practice. It's seeing through, isn't it? It's. I feel like if I can spend the time, if I've got the time to spend, and I enjoy what I'm doing, I'm enjoying the runs, and I'm just kind of trying to feel no pressure to clear.
Hmm.
More often than not, I'll go back and I'll get it eventually. It was funny today. I was with Blastwind. I've been playing that last few days, and
Okay.
I was not quite not quite get making it. I was making it like stage 5, and then I always speak to Octane at this point. I'm like, I'm so close. What do I do? And he's like, bomb, just bomb, man, just
Yeah.
bomb. Every time he just goes bomb, and I know once I've messaged him on Discord or whatever, and he just goes bomb, and then I know pretty much like I've sat down and straight afterwards got the run.
Yeah,
And it's just
amazing.
hilarious. You know what I mean? Like and that's happened quite a few times, but sometimes I think it's just having that confidence that,
Hmm.
if we can just squeeze through that, just a tiny little bit extra and that little bit of extra focus or whatever,
Yeah.
you can get
And
through it.
yeah, exactly. And just using what you have. Like I know for Roland Gunner Original, which I cleared some weeks back now, I knew every single time I didn't clear it, it was just because, oh, when I take a hit with bombs in stock, they all vanish. It's like, why didn't I just use 3 or 4 bombs? Like, what is going on here? Like, you get so
Yeah.
many in that game per life, and as you go through the stages, so it's just
Yeah.
okay. It's so simple to clear this. I just need to actually use my stuff. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Simple, but not
There's,
easy, of course. Like it's
no,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. There's that little thing in the back of your head just saying, I can make it through here. I
yeah,
can make it through. And then you just do it and you're like, oh, if only I had. But then you do. And then it's
yeah,
an even better feeling, isn't it?
yeah,
So yeah, it's
definitely.
risk reward is such a funny thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, it's it. I feel it's one of the most engaging things, and I think that's I think one of my favorites, to be honest, when there's just something that makes it so dangerous, but the payoff is just exhilarating and super rewarding for the
mhm.
experience. Like whatever game it is, it pans out differently in different games, of course, but I
Yeah.
I always love that kind of stuff where you've
Hmm.
just got to play dangerously and yeah. Oh, it's just nuts. So my next question is, what do you struggle with the most? That could be like tons of crisscrossing patterns or just super fast bullets. What is it that you have the biggest challenge with in these
I
games?
think it's like tight bullet patterns, if you know what I mean, really
Yeah.
tight, like getting through small gaps. I think in a lot of the bullet hell games where you can barely move, my control's not there. I'll always over egg it, or
Yeah.
like, a number of times I dodge back into something. Do you know
Hmm.
what I mean? When I feel like I've over adjusted, or I could have just not moved
Yeah.
more often than not. That's do you know what I mean? Like this on the screen, like wiggling around the screen, and like literally there's like one bullet, and I've just somehow zoomed into it.
Yeah.
It's yeah. So perhaps too much movement, and not yeah, and tight bullet patterns. That's what I really struggle with, I think. And just seeing those gaps,
Hmm.
it's like it's the time, it's the scrolling, isn't it? With the combination of the patterns and the time and the scrolling and sometimes my brain works spot on and can just read it.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just I can't quite read it yet. And I think experience will come hopefully, and that'll get easier the more I go. It's definitely improved, but that's something I struggle with.
Yeah.
Type bullet patterns, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's certainly something I feel a lot of people, including myself, like it's when you're just in something really dense and you need to have those precise like centimeter movements or even
Yeah,
millimeters, but it's just
yeah.
so easy to overshoot. So I'm curious, what excuse me, what kind of controller do you currently use, or do you?
I've got
Yeah, maybe you
yeah
use
no
a variety.
yeah, I did try a stick, and that was good fun.
Hmm.
But I like being able to play on the go, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
that didn't feel like I could. I'm not taking a stick around everywhere with me, obviously. And I play mainly on Switch, I would say. Although I have been coming back to PC more and more.
Hmm.
The way I've been going through this list, a lot of the games are on PC. But I've got SN30 Pro,
Okay. Cool.
that bad boy, with a D-pad. That's what I usually use. Or on my Switch, I've got one of the Hori. What is it? It's basically the one that it's got a D-pad on it that's decent. It's
Okay.
not the big one. It's just a small one,
Yeah.
but it's not. There's no. You can't take it out and use it with the flip grip or anything. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
would be perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, that's not the case. But yeah,
So
that's it really.
yeah, fantastic.
Mm.
So I wasn't even really planning on talking about this, but I'm just interested in hearing a little about your arcade stick experience so far, and or what the draw is for D-pad. Because I know for myself, um, when I was playing Crimzon Clover, that was I think the last shmup that I ever was using. Like when I was still using the Pro Controller stick, like the stick on the Pro Controller itself.
Yeah.
After that clear, I was like, okay, I'm done with that. It's way too wonky compared to just an arcade stick, which I had one at the time. I'm not sure what I was doing. Maybe it was just for convenience playing with the Pro Controller. But I find for myself, like retro shmups, like Gun Nail and stuff like that, um, the D-pad, like I absolutely love that. And I
Mm.
don't feel like I could ever go back to the stick on the Pro Controller these days. So yeah,
Mm.
what is it for you? Like what is it you enjoy about D-pad and arcade
I
stick
think that
specifically?
I think with the stick, it felt much more precise. I was playing Blue Wish Desire, I think, or Blue
Hmm.
Wish Resurrection Plus. Those two games on the stick, just to try it out. And I think being a musician, you kind of your control is kind of in your hands, is kind of there anyway, a little bit.
Yeah.
And that felt really nice. And I didn't have too much trouble with the inputs and stuff. It was feeling pretty good straight away, really. And it felt, when you hear the click, you know that it's
Yeah,
there, don't you? You
for
know that
sure.
the movement's there. You can the minutest little push you can
Hmm.
kind of get your hands around. Whereas sometimes with the D-pad, I do like the D-pad, but I feel a bit like you press it and you're kind of like, how far is this going to go?
Yeah.
And I think that's like sometimes why I end up going back into bullets, because you're like, it's gone too far, and then back, and then you've zigzagged your way back
Yeah.
where you were before. Um, but I do find that I can't get to grips with the sticks on on the controller, like a pro controllers and stuff,
Yeah.
and the PS4. Yeah, it's just the D-pads. I mean, I even use a D-pad on the PS4 controller, which I think's horrendous, but
Yeah.
I prefer it to the the analog stick, as it were.
Yeah. It's great that you mention what you did about D-pad. I feel that's kind of why, like, if I was playing a bullet hell, I'm not sure I would use D-pad, but for retro arcade shmups where you don't really have a lot of bullets to deal with, but just single bullets kind of zipping across the screen, that's where I feel D-pad is just fine, because you don't
Yeah,
have to necessarily weave through these super tight uh, patterns that take half a minute to work your way through and that kind of thing. So, um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm not there yet with those kind of games, if you know what I mean. Like I'm not at those dense patterns yet. So
yeah,
I'll be cracking the arcade stick out. I think when I'm on Mushy Ultra or something like
yeah.
that.
That'll be soon enough. uh,
Um,
okay, what are your goals currently? Which I think we kind of touched on. Like, you want to finish up the beginners list and start chipping away
yeah.
at other things. But I think in a long term sense, what is it you want to do with the genre as a whole? Or are there even specific games where you know are just super super challenging, but there's something about them that you just really want to shoot for?
I've got I'd like to give Mushy Fatari a go. I got that on. I actually forked out for the Xbox 360 version of that. So
Nice.
I was like, right, I'm gonna delve into that at some point. So that's gonna be good fun. I'd like to get the Crimzon Clover one arcade
Hmm.
clear. Hopefully sometime soon. That'd be nice to work towards. And I think just, carry on kind of trying to increase difficulty, revisit some of the stuff that I've played before, and just carry on enjoying it. Really, I've had such a blast playing through these games that I think I've not necessarily thought too much about difficulty
Yep.
or like just playing games on the next level, on the next level, on the next level. I don't want to get to a point where I'm playing the same. I enjoy the variety.
Yeah, that's important.
So having, like you say, having something in the background while you're playing other games as well. Like I
Hmm.
think have a few big projects like that. It'd be nice to do while kind of continuing to explore through it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, fantastic. Um, so this is kind of just like a question for fun, but if there was going to be any reason that you just completely stop playing shmups, what would that reason need to be?
Oh, jeez. I can't imagine like why I would. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't really think of I do quite like my Nintendo touchscreen, like random like mahjong games and card puzzle games and stuff like that here and there. But I can't imagine that replacing the thrill of unless I became like somehow really good at skateboarding or snowboarding or do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
some random other thing that was adrenaline fueled that I didn't have time to get to a computer for or what have you. But I don't see that happening anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, it's funny
Yeah.
because I was racking my brain yesterday thinking about the answer for myself, and I thought, like, you know what, I would probably just need to be swearing off all gaming for
Yes.
whatever reason, and that would probably be the only reason that I just don't play shmups, because I'm not
Yeah,
sure why
absolutely.
else I would do that or what could
No.
possibly happen. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how once I've like kind of got into the genre, it becomes like an obsession, doesn't it?
oh, absolutely,
I don't find myself looking for like, oh, what next game should I play on PC or Switch or what have you. It's like I know what I'm playing next.
yeah,
I've got a long list lined up, and but I know that I'm going to enjoy it as well, which is really cool because I remember a couple of years ago it'd be like, oh, what should I look for? Will this work? Will this not work?
hmm,
But I sit really comfortably in that genre, and it's just exploring like the different mechanics within it has been really good fun,
yeah.
and made like my gaming just so much more fulfilling. I think it's like made it really. I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
I love that. It's my experience has been pretty wild. Like, I started with Stared and Binary Stars on Switch. I had no clue that there was a genre. but I really enjoyed it. And then I jumped into Danmaku Unlimited 3 after the fact, and my eyes were blown wide open because that game throws so like 1,000 times more stuff at you compared to what Steriden dishes out. And after that, it was just like, what else is there? And it was just one game after another, like digging as deep as I could go into the genre and excuse me, these games. And yeah, it's like you say, it's an obsession. Like for me, it's just there's a part of me that's just so passionate and so for these games that I certainly still play other types of games, but
Hmm.
it's like 95% of the time, shmups is just what I want to do when I sit down. Like that's the priority. So it's just a wild spiral. It's like a yeah, just like a loop of madness.
Yeah, absolutely. I still blame McKeel now. I'm still
Yeah.
like, McKeel, you have like started a monster, you created a monster here. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's I think it's that little bit of a, oh, you could just try this game out. You know, it's in the alpha stages, a little bit of Shumei here and there, and now I'm like, right, just keep it all coming. Give
Yeah.
me more shmups, give me more.
Oh, so cool. Here's probably one of the last things I would like to touch on. I wasn't planning this, but when I saw all your music gear in the background, it kind of jogged my memory that you are super into music production and all that kind of stuff. So when it comes to playing shmups, how big of a role does music play for you?
It's a big role, yeah, a big role. Because like today with like playing Blastwind, like when you've got the music in the background and it's playing, it just sucks you in that extra little bit. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I was playing. What was I playing recently? Where was it? It didn't quite work for me. I don't know if it was Battle Traverse, actually. I'm not sure. There was something recently where the music didn't work, and that kind of threw me out a little bit, if
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. But more often than not, like the composers for shmup games just hit the nail on the head. Absolutely, like Super XYX. I was just loving it. Like I didn't care if I died at stage 4, stage 3. Do you know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
I will start again because I'm just ready to listen to the soundtrack again. Let's stick it back on. Do you know what I mean? It was fantastic, really good. And like same with the Refrain, Prism Memories. I played that recently, and that was really cool as well. Like mush, like yeah, it's a big part really.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I was listening to the Sound of Play podcast, and there was a shoot 'em up. I think it was the one that Mikhail was on, was the shoot 'em up episode, and I was just like, "Oh, hi, hello.
Yeah.
What's this?" Do you know what I mean? Like before I'd even started playing the genre, I was just like, "Oh, right, yeah, okay. This is sounds really cool. Like it's so varied, but also so kind of pumping as well. Like it gets your adrenaline going. Yeah, it's a massive part.
Yeah.
Really is. But I love how varied it is though as well. Do you know what I mean? Just like you get all the different styles of shmup and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, all the different genres of music that you get in there is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If there's something I've noticed, like most shmups will have great music, but there are a select few, and this is going to be different for every person, but there are a select
Hmm.
few that for me personally are just like, oh, I want to push through that next stage. Like even if things look brutal right now, I'm taking hits. Like I have to hear that song. I have to like
Yeah.
get there. Like Devil
Yeah.
Engine has been like that, and
Right.
just some other ones where you just want to make it to stage 5 to hear the music, so you just play that much better. And it's just
Yeah.
interesting how our brains kind of just we like something, and so we use that as a way to kind of just motivate ourselves to just keep pushing. Like I know
Yeah.
Mushihime
Absolutely.
Sama, like 1.5, like just those versions of the original soundtrack are just fantastic and
Hmm.
just epic music, and it adds another layer to the experience when you are just gripped by the music on a whole other level compared to just something where you're like, yeah, sure, it's nice music, but you don't necessarily feel that same connection to it.
No, I think in shmups it's part of the experience, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I do think the way that sits with the graphics and the gameplay just it links together better than I don't know any other genre game to me. Almost. I mean, I think RPGs here and there get it
sure.
right when you can. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, that's it feels a little bit more like it's not procedural, but a little bit more kind of like you're flitting around from different things to different things.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think shmups just it just hits the nail on the head and it just stays there. It just kind of keeps you in that focus mode while you are playing, and then that's the end. And then you're like, right, okay, phew, I can relax now.
Yeah.
And then it's back in again the next stage, and you're like, oh yeah, this track,
Oh,
this is what it's like. So yeah, that's it. Just make yeah. To me, it's huge,
yes.
massive part of it.
Oh, yeah. Same here. Okay, so our list of questions has more or less come to an end. But what advice would you give people just jumping in to shmups for the first time?
Um, just enjoy them. Enjoy playing. It doesn't matter if you die. Just keep, get as far as you can, and then go again. I think sometimes just knowing what works in the games as well, like knowing some of the mechanics or whatever, or taking the time just to explore them. Because sometimes, I'm playing something and halfway through I'll realize, oh right, I can do this. How did I not? How have I not like started stage one and just absolutely messed around with it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like rather like sometimes I'm just like right, okay, I can get past stage one. Here we go, and like really focused in and like just trying to use the shot, and I don't even try a bomb or like try out the different buttons or the different combinations, and then I end up coming back like and thinking, oh, why did I not just try that? Because this would have really helped or whatever. So I think exploring the games
Mm-hmm.
as much as you can. Playing games that you find fun, that you're drawn to, because I think some games just you stop and you really take notice, don't you? And you can't like I think recently like with Cosmo Dreamer and Hazelnut Hex, I
Yeah.
just got those just to just have a play through, but I ended up going for the one CCs because I love the games. Like
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden I was like taken out of everything else, and I was like, okay, yeah, actually these are amazing. These are really good fun, and I'm gonna stick with it for a little while.
Yeah.
So I think play what you want to play. It's not necessary. It's not for. I think maybe the what's it modes, the caravan scoring modes
Mm-hmm.
really drew me in. That little element of competition and trying to like go for your best score on a short kind of course was
Mm-hmm.
really cool, and I think that really kind of piqued my interest. And learning one stage like that then made me want to look for the rest of it. Like recently, I played Super Aleste, um, just the short mode for a little scoring competition. It was dead good fun, and then I went back and got the one CC because I'd played it that much. It was like, oh yeah, then playing through the longer levels was just it was a blast. It's really good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, explore the genre, play short games, and enjoy what you want to enjoy the graphics and the music of the ones that you wanna that you're interested in. I think as well, having somebody who kind of curate the beginner list was great because it was kind of curated a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So
Yep.
I didn't feel like I was necessarily wasting my time. I felt like, oh, actually, I'm learning something from this one, or this is. And I feel like even though it looks like it's a challenge, somebody said I should be able to get through this. So I'm going to keep on striving until I can.
Yeah.
So I think that was really cool. And the community is brilliant as well. Like
Oh, yeah.
everyone's so friendly and like really cool. The Shmup Junkie Discord has been so welcoming, and like Actane is every time I mention anything, he's like, "Oh yeah, nice one, man. Keep going, push through,
Mm-hmm.
bomb, and all
Yeah.
what have you." And having somebody like that, just being friendly is just really nice. And there's so much content out there now as well. It's really cool, like with yourself and Schmuck Junkie and Mark and the Sex. There's loads to get involved with, really, which has
Yeah.
been really cool.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing I enjoy about, excuse me, the genre is just unlike other genres. There might be some ego and that kind of stuff here and there, but it's for the most part people who are invested in the genre and are passionate about these games. They want to see other people succeed. They want to help other people succeed, share the information. It's just a very warm and welcoming kind of sphere to be in compared to a lot of other situations.
Hmm.
So that's just something that I feel is great for everybody involved, especially people new getting into it, because then they don't show up and see just a bunch of people who are like, oh, look at me, and da 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 da. It's just yeah, people can get in, they can get the support they need, they can get the encouragement, all that kind of stuff, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. No, I've had a great time with it so far. It's been cool.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up our chat. Is there anything else, or are you talked out? For,
Yeah, no, it was good fun. Thank you, man. It's
yeah,
really cool to speak to you.
yeah, likewise.
Yeah,
I'm
I've had a great
really
time.
really glad we could do this. Thanks so much for setting aside some time to do this. And for everybody who's been listening or watching this episode, really appreciate that too. So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments, and yeah, we'll see you next time.